name is Leah Hess, and I started Paperclip47. Paperclip47, we are an online retail business. So I'm local, I only sell locally, but I don't have a physical retail space. Everything I have is on my website. I sell mainly just home furnishings, so couches and chairs and tables, but I also do desks. I do some office furniture. I've worked with some local businesses and outfitting offices and that type of thing too. So decor, vases, curtains, whatever you want. I've always bought and resold things really since college. It was kind of the way to make a little bit extra money and buying and reselling textbooks, that type of thing. I would have friends, they say, hey, I need a headboard, or I'm looking for a chair like this, and I can go out and find it super cheap. And that's kind of my knack that I have. And my career path in life was come run a small office for 3 to 5 years, and then I was going to move to headquarters. But then I happened to fall in love with Huntsville. So slight problem when 5 years passed and I went, okay, now what do I do? That's really where things started changing, and I had to start thinking about what's that next step. So I went from the nonprofit world, which is kind of, nonprofits, especially in a small nonprofit, is very entrepreneurial because, you know, even though your title's president, you're taking out the trash, you're the one who does the budget, you have to do the fundraising. I mean, you do everything in a small nonprofit. So I really learned a lot about running a business through running a nonprofit. So then I decided to try my hat in the corporate world. So I went into business development for the corporate world, and that was 8 months. And I realized that's probably not the right thing for me. My husband, Colin, said, I was starting to pick up this buying and selling furniture, and he says, you just need to do it full time, because it was one of those steps. I knew I was doing it on the side as a hobby for a long time, but if I really was going to do it, I had to do it full time. In order to take my business to a full-time next step, I needed to get my business license first, and that way I can buy things for wholesale and not have to pay taxes ahead of time for it. So that was really that big differentiating between this is a hobby and this is a real business. So I really had to get my ducks in a row before I jumped into it full time. When you're scaling your business, I say go slow. Slow is relative. I had been doing it for years. I knew what sells well in this city, what doesn't sell well, what would take a long time, that type of thing. So I knew some of that process just because I've been doing it on the side for so long. It wasn't just like I woke up one day and said, hey, I want to sell furniture, and just went out and did it. So I have friends say, why can't I do what you do? Why can't I buy the furniture you buy? I said, you absolutely can. Anybody can. You have to buy a tractor trailer load at one time. If you want to unload a tractor trailer and store it somewhere, then go for it. That's all I do. My business is not difficult. My business is not complicated. It's not technical. Anybody could do it. You just have to have a passion and a desire to do it, because you will be doing it at 11 o'clock at night. You will be meeting somebody at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning. It's, so you have to have that passion to keep doing it. It's a lot of physical work that you're doing, that behind the scenes. It's hot and it's dirty, and you're sweating a lot, but when you talk about sweat equity, it truly is that sweat equity that you're putting into it. You hear all this negativity about starting a small business, and people say, you're going to fail. You can't start a small business. So when I first started this, I was very cautious. Like I said, it was low risk, not no risk, but low risk, and started kind of quietly. But then all of a sudden it starts to work. And all of a sudden you're like, wait, I'm making money. And this idea is actually working. It's not supposed to work. If you look at all the statistics, small businesses aren't supposed to work. This is actually working. We have an entrepreneurial spirit in Huntsville, and people are very supportive. And everyone I tell about my business, they'll say, give me your card. Give me 10 of your cards. I want to pass them out to my friends. I'll tell people, to come shop with you and that type of thing. So that makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to have not just that support of friends and family, which you kind of expect to have, but have the support of your entire community behind you. That's what I think is what's unique about Huntsville. If you're interested in starting your own business, the hardest thing that I had to do, but the most important, was sacrifice. During that time, I'm going from a full-time salary to no salary. And my husband and I, we had to sit down and say, what are we going to do in our personal budget? First of all, I'm putting all this money into the business, and not a lot's coming out at first. And so we really cut back. You know what? Working a corporate job and working 8 to 5 is great. It's nice to get that paycheck twice a month and it's deposited into your account and you know what it's going to be. But if you have that desire to, it's that entrepreneur itch. and it doesn't go away, and you keep having that idea and you keep thinking, I think this might work, I think it might work. You know, try it, test it out a little bit and see if it does.